We're here today to honor our founders, and I'd like to have Mickey Gordon come forward, please.
He's hiding somewhere.
Mickey? Mickey's going to tell us about our founders. Thank you, sir.
"3 May 1997, Augusta Military Academy Alumni Association, Special Order Number 1. Founders Day. Founders Day was always celebrated on May the 8th. It was not the founding of the academy that we have known. It was the birth date of the founder of the academy, Professor Charles Somerville Roller, who was born on the 8th of May in 1839 and died in 1907. He had his early education. He was born here in Mount Sydney. He had his early education in the central Shenandoah Valley at the Parkins Classical School and later the Mossy Creek Academy. Then the young Mr. Roller went to the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. I don't know whether he saw Mr. Jefferson. He would not have. But he went over there in 1859. And after several years as a student at Charlottesville, and with the outbreak of the Civil War, he joined the Confederate forces. He served with E Company, 1st Virginia Regiment, which was attached to General J.B. Stewart's cavalry. After the war, he returned to this area, and it's brought to my attention he had two prime interests: education and politics. The educational part, he recognized that so many of the young men who served with the Confederacy during the war had missed their 1, 2, 3, 4 years of education. He was interested in seeing that they could recapture some of those book learning years. He was also interested in the reconstruction of the valley here, some of which was reduced to rubble. He went to Richmond in 1871. He served in the state legislature for 2 years, returning here in 1873, after which what we know as the Augusta Military Academy was originally formed. To the best of my ability, the year 1874 could or should be the origin year, the first year. He founded a school in this area in 1874, and they named it the Augusta Male Academy. It was still AMA, but it was the Augusta Male Academy. And in its first year, it had 43 young men from this area enrolled. In 1890, the Academy's name was changed to the Augusta Classical and Military Academy. And sometime prior to the turn of the century, the name that you and I know, the Augusta Military Academy, was adopted. Professor Roller's wife was named Rosabelle Judith Mormon. She was from Lynchburg. They were married when the school was in its infancy. And they had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. I know of a half a dozen of us here that knew all of these children. It was Dr. William C. Roller. He practiced medicine. He was the school doctor. There was Colonel Thomas J. Roller and Major Charles S. Roller, Jr., who were our co-principals. And it was Maggie Bell Robinson, who was married to Major Boots Robinson, Warren Boots Robinson, who was our algebra teacher. As earlier stated, Founders Day is the birth date of Professor Roller. And we don't know exactly when that Founders Day holiday was created, but it is said that the manner in which it was created was one day on his birthday in class when Mrs. Professor Roller went into class and said and exclaimed, said, "This is your birthday. You and the boys ought to have a holiday." And from that time on, Founders Day has been a holiday. Some of us, again, the small group of us in attendance, and those who were here in the 20s and 30s, there was an old saying that every dog has its day. Major Jake's was the 8th of May. Major Jake was Major Herbert Jacob. He was the assistant commandant, and he served the academy for more than 30 years. And on that day, the battalion would form over on the blacktop, Major Jacob leading the entire battalion with his sword. We'd march down here to the Valley Pike, up the pike, into the cemetery, right to this area where we are now, the band playing Almost Christian Soldiers, and there would be a ceremony honoring Professor Roller. After which, the battalion would march back to, we had I remember we had a police escort. Police, they were holding traffic off so we could march up the highway. We were really big time in those days. And after the ceremony, we'd go back to the barracks. There are no classes that day. Cadets were given liberty. They could go into Stanton. They could play games. They could sack in, play athletics, whatever. But that was a national holiday for the cadets. As it says on Major Roller, General Roller's stone back here, as the shadows lengthen tonight, the sun will set on an empty barracks, but your memories will soar with you for an eternity. Goodbye. Goodbye, Professor Roller, Colonel Tom, Major Charles. Dismissed.